Hello, Uggies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question, a rather interesting one, comes from Philip Canterbury, N4PRC. He says, "Hello, Dave. Everyone talks about it, but no one has told me the correct way to have a QSO, or a contact with somebody, using a control operator. Do I use their call sign or mine? I know I have to use their frequency ranges when communicating." Well, things have changed. Back in ancient times, when I first got my license, the license was actually in two parts. There was an operator license, which allowed me to operate with novice privileges. Then, for my station, I had a station license, and the call sign went with the station license. So my station was licensed as WN7AIU. Now, what was interesting about that was if I wanted to move that station, for example, for portable operation, I actually had to get permission from the FCC. They attached a great value to knowing that a certain radio station with certain call letters would be in a certain place. And there were very strict rules. If an amateur extra came over to my station and started operating, and he operated in the novice bands, he would be WN7AIU. But if he decided to operate outside the novice bands, he could do so, but he had to put WN7AIU / and then his call sign. Okay, AA0AA, whatever, something like that. Okay, and that call sign is probably a sign, but let's just use it as a sample call sign. Okay, so things have changed, and there are a lot looser. They have done away with the rule that you have to notify the FCC of any coming portable operations. So they've also done away with the idea that if you move to a new call area, you need to get a new call sign. There were hams that would have homes, say, in two places, because their business required them to travel a lot, and they actually had two call signs, one for each of the stations, because the call sign went with the station. Now it's all mushed into one. So if you came over as a novice and operated my station, and I'm the control operator here, okay, I'm sitting right next to you, I'm operating the radio's controls, you could operate using my privileges, using my call sign. Now, the way that's normally done these days, and this is a bit informal, would be to say, this is KE0OG with K7XYZ at the controls, or something like that. Now, if I were not here, you could come in and operate my station and use on the novice band, well, technician band, something like that, you KE0OG with so-and-so at the mic. Or, what is more normal, you'd simply pick up the mic from the VHF station, operate, use your own call sign. Okay? And then you wouldn't have any problems. Of course, you'd have to observe your privileges as a technician. So the bottom line is, yes, you can operate another ham station. If that ham is present and acts as a control operator, you use that ham's call sign, and you make some indication that there is, you say he's a control operator or so-and-so at the mic. If the other station has the same, other operator has the same privileges that you do, just use the station. You can use that station's call sign and say KE0OG at the mic, or you can just use your own call sign and use your own privileges, which is, I think, most common. Let's take an example. Field day. At Field Day, our club has a club call sign of K0IIT, which is really nice on Morse code. Did it, da, for IIT. Every ham operating that station uses the privileges of that station, which are amateur extra, if there's an amateur extra control operator right next to them, and they sign K0IIT because that's the club call sign. Okay. Now there's also a GOTA station. A GOTA station usually has a control operator who's general or above, and it allows anyone, licensed or not, to come in and use that station with the control operator present, and they use the control operator's call sign. So if you were visiting a ham and you don't have your license yet, you can use the control operator's call sign as long as their person is right there, not somewhere else in the house, but right there with you. And you can use that person's call sign and privileges. Now, there are subtleties in the law. It is an open question, I think, and this has been answered strictly and liberally for years. Who pushes the push-to-talk button? Okay. At some points, people have interpreted that the control operator must push the push-to-talk button. But if you're operating a telegraph key, almost all radios these days use a technique where as soon as you push down the key, you go into transmit, and you let off the key and it goes back into receive. So the key itself is the push-to-talk button. Okay? So the way I would interpret that now is that the control operator needs to be immediately present, needs to be able to turn off communications if things get out of hand, but that the visitor can push the push-to-talk button or the microphone, but the visitor should not be messing with the controls unless the visitor has a license already and is using that license. So there you have it. It's absolutely as clear as mud, okay? The old idea that the license was a station license, which didn't move, and an operator license, and the operator could move from station to station, but used whatever station license was given. That's all done away with now. The operator and the station license are all kind of rolled into one. There's nothing on the license form that says station license, operator license, like it used to. I'd like to thank my most recent patron, Don DeGidio, who signed up just last night during our live stream, and really appreciate the support of all the patrons. Don, thank you. If you too would like to become a patron of Ham Radio Answers, you can certainly do so by going to www.patreon.com, note the weird spelling, patreon.com/KE0OG, and signing up to be a patron yourself. Until we next meet, 73.